And we're back with some more oxygen not included. Now, excuse me if my voice is a bit hoarse, got a tiny bit of a cold going on, but that's not going to stop us finishing this water tank because it needs to be done. This thing is burning a hole in my brain. All right. Uh, Water has risen about 12 hours worth since we've last had a look at this. We have also installed this. We need to start putting in entry exit points so our dupes have a way of getting in and out of the base because, well, we're about to start sealing it up almost entirely. I did a little bit of sealing over here in that we now have liquid locks that the duplicants can get in and out of. So, oh, I should maybe put some transport tubes close to those. You know, we can do that in a bit. There's lots of just tiny little quality of life features for the dupes so that things will be easier for them. But the main thing I want to get done right now is seal this area off so we can't take flood damage, and then seal us in across the top with airflow tiles, which means we'll have to redo this whole joint plate. This joint plate is, yeah, it's wonky donkey. It's the only way to say it. Namely, that mini gas pump ended up going that direction. We'll flip that down, we'll reverse it inside, and we'll smooth it across the top. That should fix that. Oh, and we're finally going to have to wall in this section. That visco gel, I'm afraid, it is no longer sufficient for the task. And then that will mean we can flood the map up to at least there. And then I think there's only one or two things left to do. And at that point, well, it's just walling in. And you know what? Let's get this one done first. This place is an absolute mess. You can see all those little pieces of coal. That 105 kilos of coal, that's from cannibalism. Every time a hatch dies, another hatch eats the meat. And then they poop out half the meat as coal. So all of this is cannibalism. Every single piece of it. And every 10 kilos of that is... Actually, no, every 20 kilos of that is one hatch that died. Yeah, we probably could have put in some sort of auto sweepers or put them all in one tile and used auto sweepers to grab the meat, but we're at 128 million calories. I think we're good. We got 61 million of that as barbecue. I'm not fighting over it. Now, what we have to do here is put in a liquid lock made out of airflow tiles, basically to stop the breaking. We could use bunker tiles, but we've got a theme going on here. Anyway, airflow tiles, like that. Perfect. The problem is it's going to mess with this whole system. This whole system was back from when this place was a frozen planet. Remember back in the olden times when we were... Oh my God, it feels so long ago. All right. But this was put in to heat the base so that the dupes would stop being cold all the time and having hypothermia. This top part of it is no longer necessary. The bottom part is, that's what's actually keeping the hot tub going. And I'm not taking away the hot tub. The dupes deserve the hot tub. They've been working hard. They've been literally living in water world. Their world is slowly flooding and they're like, you know what, this is fine. This is grand. Oh, volcano. People were worried about the volcano. Don't be. I disabled the auto repair on this ages ago. And once it's flooded with more than 150 kilos of pressure, that volcano can't do anything. It can't actually activate if it's flooded more than 120 kgs of pressure, including gas. So this thing can't erupt. So, you know what, let's deconstruct a couple of tiles here. Actually, the top one is all we need to do. Deconstruct that top tile and let that carbon dioxide out. Now, where were we? Oh, yes. Over here. Nope. Don't want to build those. I think we're going to have to dig in here and we can scoop out the top half of this. So we'll need some stairs and a little bit of thinking. Oh, yeah, this thermosensor was to engage these metal doors to draw heat out of here to keep this area warm. And that area had a loop going through it that was heating the base. But that was disconnected ages ago. We just didn't remove it because there was no need at the time. Now there is need. So everything here, except for that metal tile, can go. So all of these can go. And I believe that is just about it. Every out-facing tile is airflow. The liquid won't be able to force its way through the petroleum. And done? I mean, I was going to try and vacuum out this area in between, and then I realized it won't make a difference. That's airflow tiles. Maybe I should have went with bunker tiles. Nope. The decision was made. Also, that now looks really weird in there, though I suppose we have a few extra tiles of space if we ever need them. Okay. Then we just got to do the top. Now, the top's going to be fairly easy. It's just going to be airflow tiles, except for this one location here. I think like 90% of what included either comes down to designing stuff so you don't have to replace it, or designing stuff, or knowing how to redesign stuff in a way that doesn't break all the vacuum seals you try to make. There we go. Easy peasy. We just re-squared it in, and we're going to pump out all of that hydrogen, and we'll have a vacuum seal again. Not even sure it's necessary anymore, but you know what? We had a plan at some point, so we should probably leave that plan in place just in case. All right, now we got to get this out of the way. This transit tube access, that has to go on. What is wrong with you? Okay, no, you're charging. That's good. You need to go because we need to raise this entire floor one tile. We got to put airflow tiles all the way along the top. And done. We've now waterproofed the top of the base. The base is completely sealed from liquids getting in top. Whoop, not quite. Got like just that piece there. But once that's in place, the base is sealed. That means we don't have to worry about flooding there. That just leaves... Oh, over here we're going to have to seal this section in as well. I'm thinking... Oh, yeah, we got to do the power. Just remember that. We got to make sure the power can get in and out as well. Right now, the power is severed down there. That is not great, so we'll put in a little joint plate right here. Make it out of steel to give it maximum strength. And, yeah, connect it all the way through there. Then once the joint plate is in, we can deconstruct the bottom one, put it in some insulated tiles, and then seal it all off. That will be the end of that. That means nothing can get through there. I still haven't connected a airflow tile here because, well, I didn't want to let gas in there just yet. But I presume we might actually have to. Also, the liquids. Oh, people are worried that these liquids are escaping into the background of space. They're not. These liquids are basically falling, and once they're falling, they don't interact with anything. It would be different if we placed mesh tiles underneath them, because then they would turn into droplets. Then I'm not sure. Droplets can interact with things, but this is just dropping straight down and landing right here. If it wasn't, there'd be nothing landing here. You can see the drops falling. The background of space absorbs 100 kgs of liquid per second, according to the wiki. I haven't tested that in a while, but it seems about right. So that would mean none of that would be making it down if they were interacting with the vacuum of space. But I did put backing plates behind them, as in drywall, so should be fine. Though we are going to have to... I think we're going to end up putting the liquid drop-offs over here. That might be a while, though. We might let the water get a little bit higher before we do that. And you already done? Excellent. Okay. With that clogged up, that means we are good up to... Actually, I think we're good up to this. This is all that's left, I think. Yeah, well, okay, we'll have to do a little bit more walling in around the trees. And then, ooh, the CO2 burping machine. Okay, we can work on that one. This one here, though, should be pretty quick. It's just a case of walling new airflow tiles. Another project bites the dust. Completely sealed in. We're not even going to bother trying to service this. This has been running for at least 1,000 cycles with no issue. In fact, it should tell us how old it is. 2,000. So this has been running for 2,000 cycles. It's fine. It has no problems. We have no intention of ever servicing that. It's gone through the steam vent becoming active and dormant multiple times. If we do need to service it, I'm going to be kicking myself for not making it a serviceable part, but that's the pain I'm living to live with. Also, we could overclock these, as in we could use the what do you call them? Geotuners. The geotuners can't double the output of this, but also increase the temperature. I don't really see a need. I mean, we're looking at this thing, it only produces 600 grams. So we could get an extra 600 grams of water if we doubled output. Like, I'm not bothered. That's a tiny amount of water. Same, we've got a second hot steam vent around, same thing, don't care. Bar ripping out this is where we used to harvest spore kid plants germs to make those little biobots that were not that useful in the later game. I think there's only 2 more things left to do. One is we need to take that carbon dioxide that's been vented into space, this stuff over here. It's coming from our power production. We need to take that and vent it into a sealed area that's not going to get blocked off. At the same time... Oh, actually, just thinking, could we do that in space up here? Like, there is 2 tiles of space that we cannot use at the top of the map, but we might be able to use it to vent gases. Huh. You know what? I'll think about that. Not just now, but that might be an idea for that. First thing, though, it is this liquid vent down here. Time to overclock this one. I'm thinking we've got the spare capacity now built into the system just about. If you look up here, you'll notice systems not like a whole bunch of these are on the low end. They're not actually pumping massively, namely because we have built more than enough steam turbines to keep up with what's going on. We're still harvesting way more water than before, but now we're also harvesting water from this other liquid vent we kicked in. Also, it's been pointed out in the comments that I'm an idiot. Happens quite regularly, actually. These water vents don't overpressurize to 500 kgs. Volcanoes overpressurize about 150 kgs. These water geysers overpressure at 500 kgs, meaning we could have 500 kgs of gas pressure around them before they start to overpressurize. Which means this one down here, Doesn't matter that it's 150 kgs of pressure outside. We can just build this into the system. Okay, it's currently dormant. When are you going to become active? 1.8 cycles. Excellent. That means we can rejig this real quick. We are going to... Will we add on 3 steam turbines? Actually, no. I don't think we need to add on these 3 steam turbines. We're just going to cut this area out here, and we are going to vent this into our chimney. This liquid pump will have to deconstruct, though. Don't want it getting damaged. You cut all of that out. This one's joining the fold. Then we are going to get... Oh, your saltwater geyser 2. Renaming them was also a pro tip I got from the comments. That way, when you go over to the geotuners and you're like, wait, which event is it? You don't have to look for the weird names. You can just go, oh, it's that one, because it's got a 2 after it. Yeah, see? That's 1, 2. The way this works, someone has to come over and actually assign out the geyser, and then the auto sweeper should kick in. Yeah, auto sweeper kicks in and fills it with bleach stone. It's also been pointed out I only need 1 light in the room. Yeah, but I want to make sure the whole place is lit. And also, make sure all of them get the lit workspace buff. So I'm pretty sure most of them are already getting that no matter where they are now. Like, they've got a lit workspace buff, and they're not at a lit workspace. I am beginning to think that the atmosuits themselves provide lit workspace buffs. I could be wrong on that. Yeah, see, lit workspace buff. Yeah. That seems to happen the moment they get into the atmosuit. So I'm thinking the atmosuits now have a helmet light or something is how they're phrasing it. Give me a duplicate that's indoors. Yeah, you're in pajamas. Workspace? How? You're not anywhere near light. How about you? Yeah, no idea why. They shouldn't have a lit workspace if they're not actually in range of a light. But for some strange reason, see, you. Lit workspace, but okay. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it's bugged. And down here, yeah, this whole area is looking better. And while I'm at it, I think I'm going to rip out some of the junk here. Right, easy peasy. It's now been overclocked, so it's spitting out 20 kgs of water when it goes on. That's going to be a lot of extra water into the system, but that's just an average of 8.9 kilos per second. The system should be able to handle it. If we start having problems, I will rip open this section and we can chuck on an extra couple of steam turbines. But I think that should be okay. That means all we have to do is figure out this CO2 burper. After thinking about it for a bit, I thought, why not try harvesting the snow that's falling down? I know, I should probably just finish off and stick with the projects we had, but I was thinking, what if we, say, have this backing plate up here, we rotate some hot liquid in a pipe behind it, and then any snow that falls will immediately melt, and then we'll have that pour one direction or the other. May not be perfect, but then we can have that water pour into our liquid tank, which is basically the map. Just have to figure out a way to make this work. I think we can, and we can vent the gas along this very top layer here. So we vent the gas along the top layer, and we can have it vent to multiple places so that we'll have no backup in the pipes, and we can simultaneously use it as a water source by harvesting the snow from space. I mean, why not? Seems like a win-win situation. Now, I was going to set up a tepodizer and heat up all of these bunker tiles, but then I thought, why? This carbon dioxide comes in at 100 degrees, and so we just sort of routed the carbon dioxide through the metal bunker tiles. Now, there's not a lot of heat in carbon dioxide. It's pretty low thermal capacity and all that. But I figure the meteor showers only happen sporadically. There's not an awful lot of mass in those as well. And we don't need to melt all of them. Well, it would be nice if we could. But if we don't melt all of them, that's fine. All we want to do is make sure we melt this area here so that the gas can vent. Which, currently, it's venting quite nicely. So long as this area here gets melted, we're good. Which means we're just using 2 lines. One line runs this direction, one line runs that direction, and comes back in. That's it. Finished. Simple. Easy. And that should keep the area clear. All the water pours off the edge, pours down into the middle, and if it can't, get rid of... Oh. I should probably start putting in some background plating there so that water has somewhere to go. Here we go. Took a while, but we're finally getting a meteor shower in. And none of them are lasting. Oh, that one lasted. Nope, they're gone. How about you? And we're getting water pouring out of it. And the thing is, the system was dead for a while. Well, there was no meteor showers for a while. They seemed to come in seasons. And we had a down season there, so everything heated up. Now it's going to pour that water down there. If that door opens, we don't care. The water will just plop down here and then flow into the water tank. Like, realistically, so long as the water just doesn't end up over here, we're fine. And I think it seems to work. We'll have to let it run for 1,000 cycles or so to make sure it doesn't ever break down. Oh, made a small change with the gas piping. I basically raised it up a level on the return journey. What was happening was this was dropping all its heat, and then on the way back, it was passing through the liquid, which was touching the tiles meter, which meant it was actually draining energy out of the system on the way back to get disposed of in space. So it'd be leaving it, say, 140 degrees. By the time it gets to the end, it's down to like -0 or 0 degrees. But then on the way back, it was picking up heat from the tiles that it heated up on the way through. So putting it up top just seemed to make things more efficient. All right, well, that seems to be working. Well, we'll give that a few thousand cycles and see how it's going. Turns out, after many hundred cycles, this might be actually a tad too efficient. Well, okay, not too efficient, just a little bit too warm. Turns out the amount of meteors coming in is quite low, and the amount of heat being given off by this carbon dioxide is quite high. So what's happening is, okay, a meteor shower lands, it starts melting, and then it all flows down. There's not a lot in them, to be honest. And then what happens is, after it's all melted, this keeps heating up until it eventually hits 100 degrees, and it starts causing this stuff to flash to steam. Little bit. I was actually worried it was going to be the other way, where we wouldn't be able to melt it all, but no, turns out that's not an issue. It's just, it's very rare that there was actually any snow. Like, if you look down here, this is probably all we've connected in the last 200-300 cycles. Some of it fell through that door up there, but most of it went down here. And even a few hundred cycles, it's a pittance of water you get out of it. So I think that ice is causing us more problems. Over here, you see, the meteors land, and then these trees, they basically destroy it all. Well, they break out of it. You can't really see their branches there. They exist. The branches are there. And what those branches are doing is any snowfall that lands on them, they basically break it up. Then our dupes are set to put all the snow, ice, crushed ice, all that down here. Under liquefiable ingredients, crushed ice, ice, and snow. Problem. That means I have to get it down there, and normally they take the transport tubes, and I was wondering why I was ending up with water in here. Yeah, turns out the ice can melt occasionally, which is causing me no series of annoyances, and it also messed with the liquid locks here a few times. So I think the simplest and easiest plan is to move these. These originally were put down here because, well, that's where the water was. Now, I don't think it really matters anymore. Everywhere will be water soon. Everywhere. All right, all the ice should get put there now, which should cause us less problems. All right, the game has maybe moved on a bit. I let it run overnight again, maybe a couple of nights. There you go. It's looking quite nice. This water has pushed up over here, and now it's starting to overflow this little lip, fall down the other side, and flow over here. This side was not getting as much water. Oh, and we had a Pacu bunch spawn in the gate, and I decided, well, let's put some Pacu in the tank. Why not? Totally caused pathing issues. I'm going to leave the Abyssalite here. These are the only remaining natural tiles on the map, so why not? We've also ripped out a bunch of ladder segments, or not ladder segments, block segments, and replaced them with ladders. Reason being, well, otherwise the water would start to break those tiles, and then we'd have to go along and repair them. Not worth the effort. So, we only have really a couple of things left to do, and then we're done, basically, on prep. First is, we need to wall this in a little bit more tightly. We need to make sure that it can burp out the CO2. It needs at least 5 tiles of vacuum to be able to consume the amount of CO2 it's probably going to produce. And then the rest of it needs to be sealed off with airflow tiles. Done. That gives them 9 tiles to vent into, which means they can get rid of 900 grams of carbon dioxide per second. This thing will only emit about half a kilo of carbon dioxide, so that's plenty of extra space. We put in a bunker tile here for now because we don't want any of that carbon dioxide escaping just yet. We just want to set up a quick access point for this area, just so that we can get into the trees if we need to, and possibly to get up to the top here. 1 second. This is a little bit weird, but okay. The reasoning here, what I want to do is keep the carbon dioxide out of this area. If this hot carbon dioxide gets in here, it's going to stifle the trees or cause problems. No, that would all be bad. So to stop the carbon dioxide getting in there, we need to make sure that there's blocks all the way around, and that there's also airflow tiles to prevent pressure damage. We could also use bunker tiles, that'd probably be more convenient at this point, but no, we have a theme, we're sticking with it, okay? So that's why this has got the airflow tiles, then solid tiles behind it, then more airflow tiles, just in case. It's a little bit weird, but you know what? We're getting close to the end of the project, and my brain is like, you know what? It's good enough. That's all that matters. Now what we want to do is, well, the theory, we're going to wall in everywhere with these backing plates. Once we have those in place, this will be the only place the carbon dioxide can get out. This we will seal up. Then we will start opening up this whole area, let the gases flow through all of here, and then slowly it'll start leaking out through this segment. It should be far enough away from the trees to not cause any problems, which means it'll just dissipate into the background of space. Then we have to redo all the plumbing, but first we need a lot of backing plates in here, like a lot. Oh, and we're also going to need to replace all of those. Actually, that might be the first thing to do. We're going to have to replace all of these solid tiles with ladder tiles. Okay, that gets rid of most of the blocks there that were causing issues or could potentially get damaged. And do I need to replace it? You know what? I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm trying to leave in these ladder systems because we're going to have to do some, well, minor tidying up. Some of these pipes have to be moved around. Some of the gas piping has to be ripped out. There's some leftover vestigial stuff that'll have to be removed. And over here, I'm thinking I'm going to chop off one steam turbine because I want to seal this off all the way up to space and put in airflow tiles to protect it from water pressure damage. And I was just realizing I either have to stick an airflow tile right across this level and block off this entire section, or we could just chop off that steam turbine. Pretty sure we don't need it. We've got enough steam turbines to take up the slack. We're up to, what, 20 kilos? Yeah, this seems to have stabilized about 20 kilos of pressure right here. This is sort of my thermostat for how much pressure's in there. And that's with both of those liquid geysers down there spewing, well, an enormous amount more liquid into this section. Ooh, double check. I'm trying to hold out for, well, I'm hoping we eventually get some more Paku. Excellent. Oh, you know what? I did that too early. Give me a priority 6 on that one, and give me a priority 7 on that one. In fact, make that one an emergency. Oop. Will it? Yep, they're going for it. Perfect. I set this up over here for the last Paku stash. Basically, they hop into the fish trap. And that's just Visco gel. And then what we'll do is they're confined. Yeah, well, you're in a pile of Visco gel. What do you expect? Now I gotta find somewhere to stick the fish release. The problem with the fish release is if you put it underwater, it takes pressure damage pretty much immediately, even making it out of steel. The saves are getting longer and longer, but I'm still leaving the autosaves on because crashes are getting a little bit more frequent. All right, we're going to dump all the fish off in here. They'll eventually make themselves their way down to the bottom right or bottom left. I think it's bottom right for fish they naturally kind of navigate towards. And flyers naturally go to the top right, if I'm correct. Oh, all of the critters have been moved. I don't think we can afford the space for a permanent liquid disposal. I mean, this should be, like, once we get rid of the last of some of the liquids lying around the place, as long as we don't print any more, we shouldn't have to deal with them. Otherwise, we have to set up a safe place to go and empty the bottles. That also has access to vacuum, that is also sealed off from letting all the rest of the liquid we're about to pump into here escape. Oh, forgot about these eggs. 1 second. Yeah, we want all the shine nymph eggs as well down here. I would like to try and keep as many of the critters alive in this location. So I'm dropping all... 1 second. Why did I put nymphs in there? That would be a bad location to put them because that's where all the poke shells go. Let's put them over here instead. Okay. We got all of that sorted out. We shouldn't have to worry about critters for a while longer. I just want to keep them alive. The problem was I found a puffed egg at the bottom of the ocean down here. And then I realized that, okay, if that puffed egg hatches, it's never, ever making it to oxygen or a pocket of gas in time. It's just dead. So what I've been trying to do is collect all the eggs that fall around the place and keep them in this room. They won't be able to get out because of the water, but they shouldn't stifle because there's no door here. So technically, they're in a giant room. How big is this room? Yeah, it's 63,000 tiles. So they shouldn't overpopulate or whatever. Only downside is if they get too close to those poke shells, they might get slapped. But that's a chance I'm willing to take. And right now, it's raining again. And let's see these trees in action. Come on. Yeah, shake it off. I need to maybe stop collecting ice. I don't think there's a need anymore. I was collecting because I'm like, every single little bit of water counts, but just the sheer quantity of water we're currently producing right now is kind of staggering. And now that I've actually seen how much water this whole system is producing, I'm like, yeah, there's not really that much. The meteors don't provide enough. You could maybe survive one dupe on the amount of... Actually, I'm not even sure you could have one dupe survive on the amount of ice that's falling out of the sky. Oh, well, right now, we're backing plating in this place. And then once the backing plates are in there, little bit of a rejig over this section. And once that's done, should just be a case of opening up, well, everywhere. and then we're done. We just literally have to time lapse it until the whole thing's done. I need to figure out a way to do like 1 frame per minute or something like that. Well, we'll worry about that in a minute. For now, just going to take this out real quick. Perfect. Oh, and I chose that background for just no reason. It was, what is it called? Arcade? Yeah, it's one of the newer ones. It looked weird, and I thought, why not? All right, that covers most of that except for this area over here. I think I'll have a quick check around to make sure there's no other liquids I want to sweep up into the vacuum of space. But then over here, see, right now, most of the liquids are either getting dropped off here or here. I'm going to move the liquid drop-offs to over here. We want to keep them up this section where we've got the most drop. This might make pressurizing this area a bit difficult. If you look down here, this is still not pressurizing for some reason. It's not gas that's keeping that. It's somehow the liquid pressure doesn't get up there. I don't know why. This might get complicated. We might have to start splitting the water off to different areas to pressurize both sides. Not going to worry about it too much. I'll basically run piping over, but leave some here just in case as well. First, we're just going to chop off a bit. Well, I was actually relatively painless to chop that off. I still have to do a little bit of cleanup up top. Another thing we're doing is piping. Like all of the water, like lots of water comes here. There are 6 drop-offs for water at this location. To transfer them all across, we're going with the... Wait, why is there only 5 layers of pipes? How have I missed one? I missed this one, didn't I? Fine, I'll have to put in another layer of piping for that one, but that can be done. So we're bringing all the pipes across here, and we're going to have them dump into this section. And we will have to chop out some holes to let the water through. It'll be something similar to this, but less drastic. It'll only be a 1-tile dip. This way, all the water can pour down here, and then when the water gets too high and we fill up the map all the way to the top, well, the water has somewhere to go, back out of space. Might want to wall that last bit up once we're finished as well. For now, we can leave it down. There's no reason to wall it in just yet. All right, give me a minute to tidy this up, and we should just about be finished. I think at that point we can seal it up and be done. Beautiful. Look at all that piping. All nice and smooth. Did a little bit of rewiring, well, repiping, move some stuff around. Okay, these ones here, they're going to keep dropping off water until this is full up to here. Then once the water pressure goes above here, the pipes will overflow, and they'll pass along over to this section. So we should hopefully get filling on both sides without us having to change anything. Which reminds me, these guys can all be removed. You can go... Oh, that gets rid of all of those. And I think we're sealed in so well on all sides that we can seal that up there. And then we can basically open ourselves up to space. The only way left in is... Oh. Well, that was silly of me. Yeah, 1 second. Oh, and while that completes, I should probably point out I've started demolishing a whole bunch of excess piping. There's a lot of insulated pipes. I think I may have an addiction. There's just so many of them. So these 2 pipes here were coming from the liquid vent. So they were headed all the way down to the geothermal vent thingy downstairs. That's 2 of the pipes. These 2 pipes here were actually providing water to the oxygen production facilities. However, due to heat not traveling around very well, I got rid of the pumps that were over here and instead put the pumps over here. So now the water that's feeding the oxygen and the oil wells comes from over this section. I figure if we pump water out of this corner, water from the other corners will flow in and hopefully the heat will transfer a bit. Got another idea on how to move that heat around in a second. Hopefully without using giant cooling loops. I really don't want to have to use massive cooling loops. The slowdown is just incredible. All right, so all of this piping here in these pumps can go because they used to provide the oil wells, but they've been, well, they're now being fed from the other direction. This used to provide water to the oxygen production. That has also been removed. This over here used to be a couple of desalinators. They have also been removed. All of this piping here was for either bringing salt water here or desalinating salt water. That can also be removed. And then once that's done, I'm thinking... Like, to spread the temperature, there's lots of ways we could go about it. Putting in more... No. I figure simple, brute force, and very simple. Also requires more insulated piping. Put in 5 liquid pumps over here in the bottom left-hand corner, and then pump that water in insulated pipes all the way to the top left corner. And over here somewhere. So the cold water will get pumped over here, get dropped down, and then that cold water can then spread out over here, and other water will have to rush in to fill this gap that is made. So hopefully, like after a few thousand cycles, it will pump most of the water over to this section and there'll be like a decent spread of chill. If not, we can investigate alternatives. I don't think it really matters that much, and I forgot to wall up the side of the map, didn't I? All right, close enough. We've put a wall up the side there of just regular granite, and then we're going to wall it in with airflow tiles to make sure no liquids can escape, no matter how high the pressure gets. This whole area is sealed in, so let's take the top off this. What? 1 second. 1 second. What the hell just happened? I deconstructed a door and it turned into its constituent material steel. Normally that happens when it's surrounded on all sides but one. In this instance, it wasn't. Was this because it's surrounded by backing plates? Interesting. Testing is required on that front. Yep, in a minute. All right. The reason I've left one tile here open for carbon dioxide to escape is, well, I don't think we need gas pressure anywhere anymore. Everywhere's sealed. Like, every single living area is sealed. We also went to the trouble of taking care of all of the power transformers. So there's no power transformers out in the wild. There's nothing that can overheat as far as I'm aware. Like famous last words. But I'm pretty sure we don't, like, we could live in a vacuum now. Well, we're not. We're going to be living under the sea. But yes, I think we have covered most of our bases, hopefully. I think we're just about done. I think we can leave this on its own and it should just fill. Actually, now think about it. This over here gives us an opportunity. We can wall this in if we really want to. Oh, actually, no. I won't wall this in just yet. What I've done here is, though, is I've walled in some of these with these mesh tiles so that the water flows this direction. It makes sure there's a liquid lock there. That way the gases can't get past. That carbon dioxide is from those vents over there now. So that keeps that in there, meaning their only escape point is over there. One other thing, though, is, yeah, this sucker down here. I forgot that the gas pressure down here is still linked to our main base because it's not fully submerged yet. We're close, but we're not quite all the way. But this liquid is keeping a seal on the top of it, so we just have to worry about, gases escaping through here. Give me, actually, we deconstruct that. Put a mesh tile there. I have to put up mesh tiles here as well. Okay, I think that actually works. Like, the water's covering all these parts. These airflow tiles here can't let anything through. This is pretty much sealed all the way around to a joint plate, I presume, somewhere. Which means the only way we could lose gas is through this tile. It might escape in and out of here. But we put in a little insulated tile there, so that tile stops the gases from escaping. I mean, okay, the gases can escape from here, but they can't escape from in here. Meaning that should stabilize us in. Was that a zombie germ? There's 2 zombie spore germs on that carbon dioxide. I mean, okay, that's a tiny amount. How did that even get there? You know what? It doesn't matter. Alright, I think we're good. I think we're going to say yes. All we have to do now is just let this fill. Might take a few hundred cycles. I mean, I'll do a tiny little bit of cleanup on the side, but the plan here would be to let this run in the background. I'm not even sure what do you do for finishing on this. Oh, I'm going to put in, say, 5 liquid pumps down here and have them start pumping water over to this end so we can start shutting the place down. I'm going to strip out some of these blocks. We don't need them. On top of that, though, I don't think there's anything much else. Just let it run a few times overnight. I'm not even sure there's much of a finisher we can do on this. This is the most water I've ever had, but we're almost there to the dream. The dream has always been to have just a water tank, like the biggest water tank imaginable. And now it's almost in sight. This is all that's left. I mean, when you look at it, zoom out. Like, that's all that's left. We've already flooded all of this. Like, there's only a fraction left. Is that like 20% left? I mean, okay, the main base is a bit chunky, but that's fine. So close. And why does that look like hydrogen? Oh, yeah, that is actual hydrogen. You know what? Doesn't matter. Okay, next episode of Oxygen Included might be a few days because I'm going to have to let this run overnight several nights. Okay, it's really cold in Ireland at the moment, so yeah, this keeps the place warm. It's nice. It's actually pretty handy. In the meantime, I was looking around for a game to play. I have to update my list. My list is only good up until 2003, and it's now, well, 2025. You know, so probably should update the list with all the balanced weights and what all the games are worth, so I got to update that. But in the meantime, I found Manor Lords. It won a game award, and I got a bit interested, and then it turns out it was on a wish list. So I kind of looked at this and thought, it's on my wish list. And then there was a bundle there from Hooded Horse City Builders or something. I don't know. I don't know who the Hooded Horse people were, but there was a bundle. And I'm like, I'll have a look inside this bundle and see if there's anything else in there. Yeah, there was 4 out of 6 games were on my wish list. And I was aware of Clanfolk, but I thought that one was too new. I hadn't actually put that on my wish list. But yeah, 4 of the games were on my wish list, and one of them was one I was aware of that I probably would have put on my wish list depending on what the reviews were. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. So yeah, I've put in a few hours in that already, and I kind of think I'm going to have to play that next. But I'll try not to make it too too much of that until I get the wheel back up and running and we can do a spin on what's the next games we're going to play. In the meantime, I'll let this run in the background, and I'm not even sure what we can do as a finisher for this. It'll be more just a tour of the stupidity, I suppose, and see how high the water pressure gets. Anyway, I'm going to cut this out here. I hope you enjoyed it. Good luck.